Outside a Manhattan synagogue, 100 protesters, Hezbollah flags, barricades, and the NYPD's Strategic Response Group standing between two sides that despise each other. The chants were incendiary, the shoving was real, and the law passed to prevent exactly this hadn't even been implemented yet. New York's streets are becoming a new front in a very old war. A protest outside a synagogue in New York City spiraled into confrontation as demonstrators clashed with police, chanted incendiary slogans, and triggered a heavy security response. According to the Times of Israel, anti-Zionist protesters gathered outside the Park East Synagogue on Manhattan's Upper East Side, targeting an event promoting real estate in Israel and the West Bank. The protest, reportedly organized by the activist group Pal-Awda, drew more than 100 protesters, with additional crowds forming nearby. Authorities deployed dozens of NYPD officers, barricading streets and keeping demonstrators at a distance from the synagogue. According to the media reports, the protesters were heard chanting a series of incendiary slogans.
We don't want two states, we want all of it. End the settler Zionist state. Death to the IDF. There is only one solution, Intifada revolution.
They also chanted the popular phrase,
From the river to the sea, Palestine is Arab.
Some demonstrators displayed symbols associated with militant groups, including a Hezbollah flag and inverted triangle hand gestures linked to Hamas. One protester was seen striking an image of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. Tensions escalated as protesters attempted to breach police barricades, leading to scuffles with officers from the NYPD's Strategic Response Group. Demonstrators hurled insults at police, calling them pedophile protectors and pieces of shit while trying to push toward the synagogue. Meanwhile, across the street, counter-protesters gathered holding signs that read,
Anti-Zionism is a hate movement. Anti-Zionism gets Jews killed.
The counter-protesters also responded with chants of USA and sang Israel's national anthem. Verbal clashes between the two groups quickly intensified. Protesters shouted insults including Nazis, pedophiles, and baby killers, while pro-Israel demonstrators labeled their counterparts terrorists. The demonstration comes in the wake of a newly passed New York City law governing protests outside houses of worship, legislation introduced after a similar clash at the same synagogue in 2025. Officials say the law, passed in April, has yet to be fully implemented, but Tuesday's policing strategy reflects a more controlled approach aimed at preventing escalation. While police prevented direct physical confrontation this time, the scale, rhetoric, and symbolism on display underscore the deepening polarization surrounding the Israel-Palestine issue, now increasingly playing out on American streets. Israel is fighting a war on multiple fronts. Apparently that includes one with its own ultra-Orthodox community. On the night of May 4th, thousands of Haredi worshippers stormed Mount Meron in northern Israel to mark the Jewish holiday of Lag BaOmer, brushing aside wartime restrictions that authorities had imposed just days earlier over fears of Hezbollah rocket fire. The rules were clear enough. The IDF Home Front Command had capped outdoor gatherings at 200 people. Police closed all roads to Meron, erected barriers, and deployed hundreds of officers. What was normally a pilgrimage drawing over 100,000 people was to be scaled back to 3 small bonfire ceremonies. Despite the oversight, the police insisted on Monday afternoon that enough had been done to keep pilgrims away. They denied reports indicating that thousands had already snuck into the complex and that thousands more were on their way, driving as far as they could and then walking the remainder of the route.
The entry of thousands of people into the Meron area has so far been prevented, and the arrival of hundreds of buses traveling in violation of the Home Front Command guidelines has been thwarted.
But the visuals showed a different reality. By nightfall, crowds had overturned fences, walked through private farmland, and driven as far as roads would take them before continuing on foot. One pilgrim summed up the situation with 3 words.
Anyone can come.
Shimon, who gave only his first name, said he drove from a settlement near Jerusalem without encountering a single checkpoint, calling it a miracle. Adding to the confusion, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir showed up at the site himself and praised the officers on duty, not for enforcing the rules, but for their restraint in not doing so.
I think we should commend all the officers who are currently at all the checkpoints surrounding Meron, and they're working very gently.
The scene at Meron was notably calmer than 2 years prior, when police used pepper spray, fired warning shots, and shoved elderly worshippers. This time, the crowd simply walked through. Authorities had tried to redirect the faithful to Jerusalem, where 2 mass bonfire ceremonies were organized. Rabbi Elimelech Biderman, who traditionally lights the central bonfire at Meron, moved his ceremony to a road in northern Jerusalem, drawing an estimated 33,000 people. Meron has not had an uncomplicated Lag BaOmer in years. A 2021 crowd crush killed 45 people, Israel's deadliest civilian disaster on record. Every year, the second most visited Jewish pilgrimage site in Israel becomes something close to a city of its own. Hundreds of thousands climb Mount Meron in northern Israel for Lag BaOmer, lighting bonfires, dancing through the night, celebrating the life of a 2nd century sage whose tomb draws the faithful from across the world. This year, they will not be going. On April 27th, the country's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cancelled the mass format of the annual Lag BaOmer festival at Meron, scheduled for May 5th, citing the fragile ceasefire with Lebanon and the continued threat of rocket fire toward the area. The decision followed a wave of Hezbollah strikes that prompted Israel's Home Front Command to restrict gatherings in northern border communities to 1,500 people. Meron sites close enough to the Lebanese border that evacuating tens of thousands of pilgrims quickly under fire was deemed an unacceptable risk. Netanyahu's office laid out the reasoning plainly.
The Prime Minister has instructed that the events marking the celebration of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai at Meron will not take place this year in a mass participation format, but only in a symbolic format. The decision was made because of concern over a mass casualty event, the fragile ceasefire with Lebanon, Meron's proximity to the border, rocket fire towards the area, and the difficulty of evacuating large numbers of participants quickly.
The weight of that decision is considerable. Lag BaOmer at Meron is the Hilula, the joyous anniversary of the death of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, credited with authoring the Zohar, the foundational text of Kabbalah. His passing is marked not with mourning, but with celebration, honoring the mystical teachings he left behind. Towering bonfires are lit across the country. 3-year-old boys receive their first haircuts at the mountain in a rite of passage observed for generations. None of that will happen at scale this year. Hezbollah has maintained that its strikes are a legitimate response to Israeli ceasefire violations and the continued occupation of southern Lebanese territory. Israel has continued striking Hezbollah targets regardless. Since hostilities resumed on March 2nd, Lebanon's health ministry says around 2,500 people have been killed and close to 8,000 wounded.